Yo, in today's video, we'll be looking at creepy and bizarre TikTok conspiracies that will blow your mind.
The legendary city of Agartha, at the center of the earth. And at the center of that, the Vrilya. Unfortunately, the place is crawling with Vril. And I'm not hugely fond of shape-shifting reptilian humanoids. This should be interesting.
Did you catch that? Do you notice how they set up the angle for their meal to resemble the Last Supper? Was it to mock it or an innocent mistake? What do you think? TikTok, this is for entertainment purposes only.
Well, it certainly has been an interesting last few millennium. With this whole infiltrate the upper echelon of human society and manipulate them into destroying each other. Now, we might have just gone a little heavy on the political realm. Oh my God, and a little sucky, you know. Who knew that social media was gonna work? That was brilliant. Everyone too wrapped up in cat videos and sending to procreate instead of think with their brains. Very nice. Sure helped with my case during the elections. And you two crazy kids with your crusades and your jihad, or whatever you want to call it. Nothing like a little monotheism to throw people into centuries of battles over exactly the same ideology.
You won't believe what the...
What movie is that? I don't even know what movie that is. I'm about to watch that movie. I've seen that video before and I have to watch that movie because they were just breaking it down, man. And social media, me and my wife was just talking about that, man, the other day. Social media is probably the worst thing that happened to us. It's like the best thing if you use it for good things, but it's also like the worst thing as well. You know, it's a double-edged sword.
The elites are about to do to the middle class. And this could completely destroy your livelihood and the livelihood of millions of Americans. Money has become a god, and these people in positions of power know damn well that when they tweak and play with the financial system, they are quite literally tweaking our entire livelihoods. These economic points, these statistics are not just numbers on a screen. They are people waking up and working, people with student loans, people with credit card debt, people with mortgages. And when you see defaults, when you see people taking out credit at historical rates, it is because the average American is living in a facade, in a false reality that these individuals can play with, and that they want a full-fledged two-tier society that we have not seen since points in time where there's full-blown revolutions. A society where the divide between the have and the have-nots increases so much to the point where the have-nots cannot even do anything, have no say, have no capability to avoid the world in which they're going to own nothing and be happy, but it will be even worse, in which the people in positions of power will own them and they will still be unhappy.
I ain't ready for that time, y'all. I'm trying to own some stuff.
When the people become restive, and when the people are asking questions, and when the people don't like the policies of the emperor, he sends them to the circus. He creates a circus. He builds a giant coliseum. And he begins to throw the Christians to the lions. And he has great chariot races and football games and basketball games, all to keep the idiots preoccupied with things that don't mean anything in the scheme of the entire world.
You know, on that point right there, how many people have y'all heard say, like at a certain point in the year, man, ain't no sports on TV, man. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to watch on TV, man. Ain't no baseball, ain't no basketball, ain't no football. It's a weird time of the year, y'all. Nah, y'all just weird. Y'all ain't got nothing else to do. See, it's like money and sports, man. That's the religion of the time that we in.
So that they don't have the time to learn what the truth is. So they don't ever get smart enough to learn how they're being manipulated. So they don't ever question the emperor. I know men who don't know anything in the world except who plays third base for the Mets. And they think that's a great accomplishment. And they meet and pat each other on the back and bond and go have cocktails and talk about what this guy that plays third base for the Mets did in last night's game. It's sad.
Yeah.
It's a game. Football's a game.
Y'all wanna know something crazy? Watch this video to the end. Do y'all find it weird that a lot of the foods in America are banned in other countries? Like, do y'all find it weird that black people are able to have debt in America? The same country that enslaved my ancestors? And to my black people in America, you are not a citizen in America. That is your land. Like, they put so much stuff in the foods to block your DNA, to block your memory, so that you can't remember that you are a god. They don't want you to remember the magic. They don't want you to know that you can reach higher levels. So that's why they demonize a lot of things. They tell you don't talk to your ancestors, don't use astrology, it's all the devil. When the whole time, that's our history. Get off your knees and stop giving your power away.
For real. Take your power back.
Hey, let's watch this video. Y'all tell me, is it facts or cap in the comments? And by the way, entertainment purposes only.
Want your children to be educated. They do not want you to think too much. That is why our country and our world has become so proliferated with entertainments, mass media, game shows, television shows, amusement parks, alcohol, and every kind of entertainment to keep the human mind entertained so that you don't get in the way of important people by doing too much thinking. You had better wake up and understand that there are people who are guiding your life and you don't even know it. And all American citizens, I think, have suspected something like this is going on. But we're all too busy trying to stay alive and live our lives. And after all, what can one person do?
I find that video very, very, very entertaining. Now, y'all let me know. What he said about the education system, was it facts or was it cap? Once again, entertainment purposes only. Y'all gonna follow me on YouTube if y'all want that exclusive content, and stay tuned.
Man, I think that's all facts, right? You know, and I was just having this talk the other day too, right? About schools and the school system, right? Because we stay in, you know, a pretty big city, and, you know, our kids go to public schools. And man, the public school system is just, it's not the same as what it used to be. We need to revamp the school system. Like, I wish, you know, like there was an alternative type of school to learn the realness. Like, learn what we learning now at an early age. Learn, you know, how to be an adult at an early age. You know, how to get your credit right, how to start a business, how to be, you know what I'm saying, how to take care of a family, how to clean a house, how to fix your car. You know what I'm saying? How to get insurance on, like, we need to learn all of that stuff at an early age. Learn how to be mature, but that's the problem, man. They want to keep us like children forever, and it's just getting worse.
So there's a specific place where hell is on earth. In the Bible, Jesus said one of my disciples named Antipas would die and be martyred, right? Now, Saint Antipas was martyred and he was killed in, you know, that torture bowl? So they put somebody in like a metal bowl and like boil him alive.
Boil it, okay.
Yeah. That happened in Geneva, Switzerland. People are saying Geneva, Switzerland is the literal place of hell. It's literally the portal to hell, or that's at least where the devil resides, because that's what it says in the Bible. Now check this out.
Okay.
Do you know what else is in Geneva, Switzerland?
What?
CERN.
Oh,
CERN headquarters is in Geneva, Switzerland, and the CERN logo is what? Six, fam. CERN is working on particle generation and messing with matter of the universe to tear our dimension with the supernatural and the natural, fam. So what is theory? They're trying to open the portal to hell, bro.
It was unusual, to say the least. We've always thought that humans first appeared no more than 7 million years ago. To now have to push that back to the Jurassic period. It goes without saying, this must be kept secret. It will wreak havoc on all our current thinking. The impact would be too great if it were revealed all at once. We must release the data carefully and gradually to the public.
We're gonna on the back of the Social Security card be numbers in red. On the front will be in blue or black, but on the back will be in red. The numbers on the back of a Social Security card in red designate your body. It is the serial number of your stock. And this is why if you're wealthy, you are preferred stock. If you're poor, you are common stock. That you are a stock on the stock market. Your body is bought and sold through the use of your birth certificate. This is why when you were born, you have to have a birth certificate. Therefore, your birth certificate is signed by your...
They probably own like cities. It's probably wealthy people that own like just parts of America. They own the whole people over there. Like it's people that own Chicago, right? They probably be making bets, on the people, and they lose the bet. All right, we finna go take out this many people. We finna make it this bad. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there, y'all. It's crazy out here though.
Everything they ever have told us is a lie. They tell us that our heart is a pump. Your heart is not a pump. Your heart is a valve. Your lungs is a pump that pumps the blood to the heart. The heart is a valve mechanism that controls the cardio output of blood. Everything they tell us about everything is a lie. They tell you your hair is just hair. No, our hair is non-ether hair. It is actually an extension of your nervous system. It is used to scan the environment, and it brings all of these different melanin neurotransmitters back to your skin to tell you whether to actually engage in the environment or take fight or flight and run away. We heal a lot of what you would call celebrities or stars, a whole lot of them. My name ring bells in the celebrity kingdom.
I know.
Ring bells. We done healed cancer. We done healed a lot of STDs with rappers, a whole lot of crazy STDs. We done got people off of opioids. We grew a thyroid back. We got rid of a case of HIV in the actual celebrity community. It's crazy the way they call me, and it's like you got everything you want, but you missing your health. And the way they call me
Yep, that's how it is. Money ain't everything, man. Take care of yourself.
It honestly blows my mind how nobody's talking about this. Watch this video. I guarantee you this will change your whole entire perspective on life.
So, just for namesake purposes, right? Don't get caught up in the semantics of it. But if we have universal consciousness breaks itself off into a smaller version of itself called spirit. Spirit then individualizes itself called the soul. Soul then lives out its existence in this thing called the body. So here's the analogy I give you. We have the ocean. That's universal consciousness. Okay, take a cup of water and scoop out a cup of water from the ocean. That would be the spirit. That's the water. But then I dye the color of the water red. That's the soul. We're personalizing, individualizing the spirit. And the cup was the body. Most people think that they are their body, or they think they are the red coloring. No, you are actually that big ocean up there that has changed itself into this different form. This is why we're on a journey to recognize that we were all the one thing. We were all it. You were not these other versions of it. There was no separation. This is what the ego has created. So the spirit uses the soul, which then uses the body.
That's actually crazy, and it makes so much sense. And if you're trying to have the best health of your life today, go ahead and get you some sea moss. And I'm making sell my very own sea moss. Just click my profile and click the only link in my bio. Then click the top that says Irish sea moss. Trust me, you'll never feel the same after taking this. And if you buy something, I really appreciate it. Let's get it.
What color is your soul?
What would you have done on September the 12th, 2001? What would you have done if you'd been president?
What would I have done?
Yeah.
I would have done a legitimate investigation to find out what exactly happened on 9/11. How did they know who did this so quickly like they did Lee Harvey Oswald? How quick they knew Lee Harvey Oswald killed Kennedy.
Because the people who did it were identified and we knew who they were.
Well, then why couldn't we have stopped them beforehand if they were identified and we knew who they were?
It was a failure of intelligence. Everyone's accepted
No, it
that.
wasn't. We knew before with Condoleezza Rice's memo on August 6th when it stated right in the memo, bin Laden to steal planes and run them into buildings. And more stuff is coming out now also, how much the Bush administration ignored the intelligence. It was almost like they ignored it because they wanted it to happen.
Oh, come off it, Jesse.
No, not come off it. Wait a minute.
Let him know.
Every war fought starts with a false flag operation.
You can't, in all seriousness, sit there and try and make anybody.
Okay, let me ask you this, Piers. Wait a minute. Let me ask you something. How much studying have you actually done of 9/11 other than what the government's told you and what mainstream media has told you? I've been studying it 4 years.
I was editor of a national newspaper.
I've talked to people. Wait a minute.
Depth every day for
Really?
5-6 months.
Really?
So I know a lot about it. And one thing I do know is,
let me ask you this
you
then.
cannot say that any member of the Bush administration knew it was going to happen and wanted it to happen. It's a ridiculous thing to say.
Ridiculous. Okay, let's talk about your BBC. I have a tape of a BBC reporter broadcasting directly back to England talking about a third building has collapsed. World Trade Center Building 7 talks for 7 minutes. All the while she's talking, World Trade Center Building 7 is still standing right behind her. It didn't fall for another half hour. Yet they were doing a pre-broadcast back to England that, yes, it's true,
you need to
that
take a
this
break here.
building fell and it hadn't fallen
If
yet.
you're trying to make out the British Broadcasting Company, one of the most respected news organisations in the world, was inventing huge buildings falling over, you need to have a break, Jesse. We'll come back after the break and we'll talk about Israel and Iran.
Are you kidding me? This is a fact, my friend.
He said, you need to have a break. You letting too much knowledge out. Hey, I've done my research on 9/11. I've done a lot of it too because it just, it's one of those things that you're just like, you know, I ain't going to talk about it too much on here, you know, because they're really sensitive about that topic. So I ain't going to say too much, but y'all should do y'all research as well.
We look at their rockets. This is how they claim they get into outer space, is these rockets. Their rockets never go straight up. Every single rocket launch from a government space agency, you'll notice, follows a parabolic curve. It goes up, it reaches a peak, but what they do is as the rocket starts coming back down, they make sure that it goes down over the ocean, out of the way of any curious observers. Anyone can see it coming back down to Earth, asks, hey, how come the rocket's not going up anymore? Well, it's going around the curvature of the Earth, is what they tell us. So every single rocket, the reason that it follows a parabolic curve, they say, is because it's going around the curvature of the Earth. The real reason is they can't get up any higher than that.
Sorry to tell you. I'm telling you right there. It's crazy.
They tell us that the Earth is a sphere. They show us pictures of a sphere, of a circle. It's a perfect circle. And then they come out and they say, well, it's actually an oblate spheroid. Oh, what's that? Well, it's a sphere that's flattened at both poles, so it's more of an oval shape. It actually bulges out south of the equator, as well as being flattened at the poles. So it's more pear-shaped.
So it's not actually a sphere. It's oblate. And officially it's an oblate spheroid.
This guy.
But not only that, it's slightly wider below the equator than above the equator.
A little chubbier.
Yeah. Chubby's a good way. It's like pear-shaped.
So now it's pear-shaped. So why are all of these official NASA photos and videos showing perfect spheres when it's actually an oblate spheroid or a pear-shaped spheroid? They can't get their story straight. The reason they keep changing it is that to fit the model, they have to change the shape of the Earth. South of the equator is larger than north of the equator because lines of longitude that just extend outwards. They don't contract back. So they concede that in their pear model. They say, well, the side bulges out south of the equator. It's bigger south of the equator. Yeah, it is because it's flat. But instead of admitting that, they just, make tweaks to their model as time goes on. They say that the ball Earth tilts back 23.5 degrees. That's another tweak they made because we can see Polaris, which is right over the North Pole, from 23.5 degrees south latitude. Shouldn't be able to see that on a ball. So they just tilt the Earth back and then okay, now you can see it. And so they come up with explanations in reverse like this. Damage control, reverse engineered explanations.
How about that one for all you globe earthers out there, y'all? Oblate, or whatever it is, an oblate pear-shaped Earth. Come on, man. They gotta come up with some better stuff. And if y'all ever look at like the Disney Plus symbol, look at the Disney Plus symbol. That'll tell you that it's a flat Earth as well with a dome over it.
If you think the ones that are running things are the ones you see on TV, watch this. These people are just familiar faces to make you feel a little more comfortable when making decisions that affect all of us.
What do they need to know that you have found out?
Everything is decided by a quite small group of men who decide who will be an MP, who will be a minister, when that minister's career will crash by pulling various levers, who will be Prime Minister and how long they will remain Prime Minister. And of course, Conservative Party voters and people who go to the ballot box think their vote matters. It doesn't matter at all because this stuff is all pre-decided. Some of them are names, you know, Michael Gove, Dominic Cummings. As I've said, Cummings is Gove and Gove is Cummings. They've worked together side by side for well over 20 years. Dougie Smith is, you know, you will only find one photograph on the internet of Dougie Smith. He is right now at Rishi's right-hand side as his main advisor. You know, this is the man who used to run the Fever sex parties, who has quite a notorious, you know, well-known background. But you won't hear anybody talk about Dougie Smith. When I ask people about Dougie Smith, they would say to me, I don't want to talk about him, and put their hand over my phone.
I guess we shouldn't talk about him, should we?
Vertical's long-awaited concert tour has officially begun, and some fans are saying they felt like they were a part of some type of ritual. Now, before I show you the rest of the clip, you heard that girl say that Uzi has a game to play. How many times can you say his name? And she says it 6 times. Now, if you keep repeating his name, Lil Uzi Vert, it starts to sound like the name Lucifer, and it's no coincidence she said it 6 times, the devil's number. Now, watch the rest of this clip, and I'll be sure to keep you guys updated on the rest of his concert tour.
Join us, Uzi. You promised us. You take the number 1. Come to the dark side.
One of the most evil, vicious.
You know, Lil Uzi Vert does sound like Lucifer, Lil Uzi Vert. They sound the same, right? And when you say the words, they're just frequencies and vibrations. So the actual spelling of the word means nothing. So if you say it fast enough 6 times, you probably are saying Lucifer. Just saying.
Navy bases in the history of the planet. They do stuff that would make like Santa Claus. Diego Garcia.
So
wait.
Sorry.
Diego Garcia. That's where that first Malaysian plane is. That's where it landed. Had 4 scientists on it. 20 scientists, but 4 had filed for patents. It was Malaysia, but they worked out of Austin, Texas, for Texas Instruments. And the ones behind that plane was Texas Instruments, the government, and Boeing, who made the plane. And everybody is stupid enough to believe that a plane almost a block long can just disappear. With the electronics we have, next generation of cars will come out, there'll be no driver. So we got 4 of those top scientists that had filed for patents worth $400 billion. And then here's a friend of yours who's with us. So 5 of us filed for patents. If we die before the patent is granted, then your brother, who wasn't on the plane with us, he owns them all. So those 4 scientists, and the 5th person was the Carlyle Group. They own them all now. The patent was granted 3 days after the plane was missing.
Wow. With the American people here, Ukraine is not a paragon of democracy. This is a country that has banned 11 opposition parties. It has consolidated all media into one state TV media arm. That's not democratic. It has threatened not to hold elections this year unless the U.S. forks over more money. That is not democratic. More facts for you that you won't hear from the mainstream in either party or the mainstream media. Regions of Ukraine that are occupied by Russia right now in the Donbass, Luhansk, Donetsk. These are Russian-speaking regions that have not even been part of Ukraine since 2014, that other people probably couldn't name those provinces for you.
Do you agree with what he is saying? Could this entire war be a scam? Could Ukraine not actually be democratic, or is this guy spewing up made-up stories? Mind you, this was filmed on November of this year, so it's pretty recent. TikTok, this is for entertainment purposes only.
Those are the hard facts. And sort of frame this as some kind of battle between good versus evil, don't buy it. And I'd like the likes of the sharpest of the war hawks on Ukraine, Nikki Haley, to have some accountability and answer. Do you want to use U.S. taxpayer money to fund the banning of Christians? That is actually what's happening. They're using the Ukrainian Orthodox Church. They have banned them. The Ukrainian parliament just did this last week, supported by our dollars. And I think you owe it to the American people, Nikki, to at least this one time at least condemn,
thank you. That's time.
at least to condemn their banning of Christians.
Does anyone want to tell me how in 1927 Universal Studios came up with this picture of the world, when the first picture of the world wasn't available until the 1960s through NASA? Almost 40 years later, how did Universal Studios know that this is what the world looked like? Especially from space, when we hadn't been to space yet. Does anyone know? Anyone want to guess?
They give you the opportunity to swear on the Bible that you walked on the moon. Will you put your left hand on the Bible and swear to God that you walked on the moon? If you really walked on the moon, why would you not do that? So why don't you just put the end to the record in the argument and put your hand on the Bible, swear to God you walked on the moon.
Mr. Cybro, knowing you, that's probably a fake Bible.
Well, yeah, $5,000 cash. You can give it to charity if you swear on the Bible that you walked on the moon. Why don't you swear to... Why not? Why won't you do it?
Mr. Cybro has made a fool of himself in front of the world. Mr. Cybro, you do not deserve answers.
Why won't he swear on the Bible? Is there something that was not told to the public? Did they actually not go to the moon? In the next clip, they are asked the meaning of going to the moon. Could they simply be tired, or is the guilt too much? TikTok. This is for entertainment purposes only.
Would each of you give us your estimate of what is the meaning of this to all of us?
I believe that what this country set out to do was something that was going to be done sooner or later, whether we set a specific goal or not.
While answering, Buzz Aldrin was very vague and never really specified what their goal was. Why is that? Is there something more to this?
Hey, her reaction was late.
All members of crash team report immediately for a code of ICU West. Crash team to ICU West. All members of crash team report immediately for a code of ICU West.
Yo, wherever I vanished to, I'd be mad that my phone just dropped like that. Screen probably cracked. Damn.
Forward, please. Facing forward. Thank you. That's what I like. Whoa. 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 Everybody hang on. Oh. Is everybody okay? Hits. Hits.
That would be crazy though.
Forward, please. Facing forward. Thank you. That's what I like. Whoa. 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 Everybody hang on! Oh. Is everybody okay? Yes. Yes.
The darkest conspiracy.
So, with those videos, right, a lot of people were saying it was like some type of thing going on between some church trying to explain the rapture or whatever, right? Which is cool or whatever, right? But what's crazy to me is like, it's easy to say that something's fake if you've never seen or experienced it before, right? Because no one's ever seen somebody just vanish, right? Like, how would that really look? And if you did see someone just like vanish right in front of you, what would you do? Or, who would you call? Imagine calling 911 and telling them, yo, my friend just vanished in front of me. They're gonna be like, okay, he just left. I'm like, no, like literally he just like disappeared. I was watching him, he just disappeared in the thin air. They're gonna be like, stop smoking. You know what I'm saying? So that alone is crazy. Like, how you won't even believe nobody.
Theories. The Titanic theory. The theory says that the Titanic never hit an iceberg. The owner of the Titanic, J.P. Morgan, had two ships, the Olympic and the Titanic. And he knew that the Olympic was old and rusty, so he switched the names and the color of the two ships. The theory argues that he wanted to sink the ship because he'd make a lot of money of it. But the theory doesn't stop there. Because do you know who was in the ship? All of J.P. Morgan's business competitors, and none of them survived the trip. But Morgan himself canceled the voyage a few minutes before the journey began.
Going into a totally different dimension by raising the frequencies and vibrations of the earth. It will shift into a new dimension. And this is the greatest show on earth because they said all the beings and all the universes are watching because this has never happened to in any universe anywhere, that an entire planet will shift into a new dimension. And when this happens, it's like two earths, as though they split. The old earth is left behind with all the negativity and all the chaos. And the new earth separates, and it will be totally new and beautiful. Now, those who have raised the vibrations and frequencies of their bodies will shift into the new earth.
This little girl right here discovered that every single United States of America president is related to each other, meaning they're cousins, besides one of them. And she found this out during a history project in 2012. And every single one of the presidents is related to this old medieval king. Let's read this remarkable discovery that was made by this 12-year-old out of California who created a groundbreaking family tree connection with 42 out of 43 United States presidents to one common and rather unexpected ancestor, King John of England. And if we didn't know, this is King John, the one that all our United States presidents are related to. So would that mean that we're in a monarchy? Possibly. But let's listen to this news report.
On the School Watch tonight, the story of a 7th grader from Salinas who claims to have made a major discovery about President Obama. She and her grandfather say that President Obama is related to all but one U.S. president.
All but one.
We get more tonight from Action News reporter Felix Cortez, who's live in our Salinas
Who's
news.
the one?
Well, Dan, the youngster spent the summer, really all summer, tracing the family tree of our presidents. Her conclusion that all the presidents, with the exception of one, share the same grandfather.
That's strange, for real, for real.
Well, first we start off with George Washington at the top, and then it goes to John Adams, Thomas Jefferson.
11-year-old Bridget Dovigneau says she's made a first-of-its-kind discovery that President Obama and all the presidents before him, with the exception of one, are related and descendants of a former king of England.
No, they are all cousins.
So when we vote, remember, all of them are cousins. Let me know what y'all think about this in the comments. Like and follow for more wisdom and stay tuned.
It's a family affair out here, y'all. We just voting for the same family every day.
Fans are saying that this is the most demonic concert they have ever attended. Before I show you actual footage of Rima's concert, this is the trailer that he dropped before the concert started. He jumps into a portal of fire and then onto a horse. The trailer fades, then the intro of the concert begins and a black cage is lifted off of him. Members in the audience were so shocked that they started to record saying, "I was genuinely scared for my life." This woman said that it felt like he was doing a ritual, and I don't blame her. The way the dancers were dancing, he was screaming and speaking words that no one could understand. I'll play you the noises he was making at the end, but he then starts to get on this demonic looking bat. The visuals then started to show demonic looking figures and skeletons and bodies burning. You have to realize this concert is very dark and the only color it's flashing is red. With all of this dark symbolism, everyone said that they felt extremely drained.
Day after day, it seems like the media is producing child predator after child predator. These are the same organizations that'll try to convince us this stuff's all just conspiracy theories made up by right-wingers. This here is Slade Somer, former editor-in-chief for the news organization The Recount. He was just arrested and charged with possession and disseminating hundreds of videos and images of child predator material. Back in 2018, the news organization BuzzFeed did a feature story on Somer where they celebrated him visiting a school talking to fourth graders about his sexual preferences. Here's the tweet about his experience. So here's a fun little story. I spent the morning in my mom's fourth grade classroom, this being a perfect confluence of Teacher Appreciation Week and Mother's Day. The plan to discuss writing. Outside of that, I don't have much in common with 10-year-olds, so I was nervous. Upon hearing about his charges, BuzzFeed tried to scrub the article. Here's one of ABC's top producers, James Gordon Meek. Man was Emmy nominated, one of their greats. He was just sentenced to 6 years in federal prison for possessing and transporting, you guessed it, child predator material. Meek not only sent and received these very disturbing images of infants and toddlers, there were also text messages found of him pressuring 14 and 15-year-old girls that he would find on places like Snapchat and other apps and have them send him those disturbing kind of images. And then there's former Cuomo CNN producer John Griffin, seen here with Cuomo, who boasted that he actually trained girls as young as 7. He's now been jailed for 19 years after he got a mother to fly her 9-year-old daughter to his home so he could do things to her. He told one father of a 14-year-old girl he wanted to recruit that the training would begin over video chat and would include spankings and genital worship. What about former Jake Tapper producer Rick Salibi, who police started investigating after James O'Keefe broke a story, CNN producer who was caught on audio fantasizing about taking advantage of his fiance's daughter. Story included very disturbing text messages and videos. Then there's this guy who was a contributor at Vice. This is non-binary social justice activist Ephraim Mendel. He was just sentenced to over 90 months in prison. This comes after he arranged to meet a 9-year-old boy to do things to him. He had thousands of images and videos of child predator material and sent text messages about how he couldn't wait to taste the boy. So yeah, it's not just a conspiracy theory like these organizations would like us to believe. There are people in positions of power out here preying on kids. May we all stand up to protect the children.
For real, man. Protect your kids. There's a bunch of freaking weirdos out here, man.
Here are 3 people who were literally killed for exposing the truth. Number 1 is Stanley Mayer. Stanley was a scientist who figured out how to make a car run on water.
All we're doing is using the hydrogen from water. When you use water, the energy release is roughly 2.5 times more powerful than that of gasoline. So water is a very powerful fuel.
Claimed the car could travel over 180 kilometers on only 1 gallon of water. The oil industry then heard of Stanley's invention and invited him to a business meeting. But about 10 minutes in, Stanley was dead. He came running out of the restaurant, screaming for help, and his last words were, I've been poisoned. If Stanley's invention was released, the oil industry would have lost billions of dollars. This is why he died. Number 2 is Gary Webb. Gary was a journalist who exposed the CIA for allegedly trafficking crack cocaine to raise money. Days after he released the story, he was found dead with 2 bullet wounds to the head. But the death was ruled as suicide. How could he have shot himself in the head twice? What do you guys think happened? Follow for more.
Like, just imagine that, right? Oh, it didn't work. Let me do it again. You know what I'm saying? These conspiracies is crazy.
You tell me if you think this is a coincidence. Let's take a look at the US dollar. At the bottom of the all-seeing pyramid, you'll see these Roman numerals. When we combine all these numerals, we're left with 1776, the year the Declaration of Independence was introduced. Now, let's look at the base numbers. M equals 1000, C equals 100, and X equals 10. When we add up all the base numbers and then subtract it by 1776, guess what? We're left with 666. Alright, so let's go back and remove the base numbers this time. DC equals 600, LX equals 60, and VI equals 6. When you add all these up, they equal 666. Let's take a look at the Australian $20 note now. You can notice that there is a black figure with numbers on it. This black figure is represented by these numbers. 789 minus 456 equals 333. And then, if we multiply it by the 2, we get 666. Either you'll think I'm a complete tinfoil, or you'll actually realize how strange this is.
What y'all think? Y'all think it's strange? I think it's a coincidence. This man out here telling horror stories to some children, y'all. He was just fascinated. That sounded like Harry Potter. It's crazy, man. I don't really trust Neil deGrasse Tyson. I don't really trust too many scientists in general because I just don't. Plain and simple, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, these are some of the most creepy and bizarre TikToks that are out there. If you like the content, don't forget to subscribe, turn your notification bell on, and until next time, YouTube, peace.